let's talk a bit about what's going on here. A lot of good news here. Frankly, I will tell you that when I was writing the Louisiana Economic Outlook and came to your area, I kept thinking, well, what is another synonym for huge? What is another synonym for big? You know, we can get my thesaurus out. And this is just a great area to be looking at. Look at what's going on. Look at things that are happening right now. You have Cheniere's Sabine Pass LNG. This is a $20 billion project. We have never had a $20 billion project in the history of this state by any measure at one time. This is the largest capital investment ever in the history of our state. Now, SWLA is out there. If they do both of those, that'll move up above to 21. But right now, Cheniere is the biggest one. This is also, by the way, going to be one that creates 148,000 jobs. Look at this number at 100. I mean, this is a very sophisticated operation. The average annual wage rate in Louisiana is around 34. So this is like 3 times higher than the average wage rate in Louisiana. And then Sempra just announced that they're going to, they started construction on their $10 billion 3-train LNG project, which is also 140 jobs, so that's really, really good. Now, when you look at the ones that are at the FEED stage, you have Trunkline waiting out there. Trunkline is very close to pulling the trigger on this to start in mid-2015. Again, look at that number, $10 billion. These LNG export facilities are just huge in terms of capital investments. You have a couple of smaller ones. This is an Australian company, as you well know. Magnolia LNG wants to do a $3.7 billion 3-train terminal. Honestly, I do not know what probability to put on this one. This is the Southern California Telephone and Energy. When you put this word in here, California, I automatically start to wonder about it. But that's just me. That's nothing to do with economics, okay? But they have purchased 232 acres on Monkey Island for a $9 billion 6-train facility. So they're very early on. I think that's pretty much true of Magnolia as well. And then you got Sasol. And then it's very important as you think about the future, I think, to break these up into 2 parts. And one is this $5 to $7 billion ethylene facility, cracker and derivatives project. They've got all their permits now, construction agreements with Fluor, and I think they're very close to pulling the trigger on that. I'm hopefully you're going to have an announcement before the end of the year that that's going to go forward. What you have to watch out for is this one right here. Look, you understand this is huge. This is still huge, right? This may not, because of the reasons I mentioned to you before, may not happen. But this is the GTL plant. My understanding is they bought the equipment for this already. But again, remember the third bet. Remember the third bet when you evaluate this. Hopefully this is still going to go forward. I think this has a very high probability of occurring too. And that's Axiall is looking at a $3 billion suite of facilities, along with the JV, I think, with the South Korean company. A large number of jobs, 250 jobs. Their board decision will occur in the very first part of 2015. This is also, I would put this at around a 60% probability occur. That's very highly probable that's going to occur. And as you know, this one right here is not going to occur now. We've talked to you for like 4 years about Lucadia, and finally they pulled the plug on that one. G2X Energy is a $1.5 billion GTL facility. They got the air permits. They're working on their water permits. This is one you got to remember the third bet. Remember the third bet. This is important in evaluating the probability of this one occurring. Phillips Refinery is still looking at this. I mean, one of the things that's going to happen in 2016 is all the boats that service offshore, all the tugboats and other water vessels that are on the Mississippi River are going to have to start using a lower sulfur content diesel, which means a higher price. And so one of the things that Phillips is looking at, all the refineries are looking at, is whether or not to make a huge investment to start producing lower sulfur content diesel when you can take the very same diesel you're making right now, put it on the tanker and ship it to some other country. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's a business decision, right? And that's one of the things they have to decide. And Phillips is not to the point where they're ready to pull the trigger on this one. Juniper LNG, as I understand, is already working to take a dormant plant in Westlake and to rework it, spend $100 million on that. I think that looks like like 100% probability it's probably happening. Now, what does all this mean? Well, one of the things all this means is you're going to need a lot of construction workers. That's been a big topic of conversation here, I know. This is a product of the seed center here, RB Smith, put this together for us. And this shows you from August of 14 to August of 15, the need for construction workers going from about 6,500 to 10,500, 4,000 person increase in 1 year. This does not include the SWLA project. I just think it's a $10 billion project. This only includes those projects for which there is something called an EPC, engineering, procurement, construction, in place. So, but when RV put this together, SWLA had not made their decision. So you know this number is going to go, it's going to go up even higher. If axial comes through, a trunk line comes through, the number's going to just go up even higher, which means you got a problem. That is where you're going to put the folks. They're not. You're spending a lot of money to train people here, but this is so many people that you're going to have to bring in people from out of state, which means you got to have a place to house them. And so the Greenfield Logistics Solution, building the Pelican Lodge out near the airport, the Chenault field. I've got down here, they're not going to go until they see more projects coming to the Industrial Canal, but they have now made the decision to go. They have started. So this slide was sent in, I don't remember how long ago it was, but they have actually made the decision that they're moving on that. They're in negotiations with the Port of Benton for a second employee village. First Flight Holdings is talking about building Moss Lake Village to accommodate about 2,500. We're at the West Calcasieu Airport, so this is one of the ways of trying to solve this particular issue. It's going to be an interesting thing for people in the real estate business to figure out here, because there's a whole lot more people going to be involved in building these plants, going to be involved in operating these plants. Although once you get them operational, you're going to have a lot of maintenance, repair, construction too. But this huge horde of people coming in are probably not going to, the whole huge horde is probably not going to stay the whole time. Do you build an apartment complex or not? Do you build a bunch of single family housing or not? Or do you just rely on temporary? What do you do here? It's a very interesting decision that people have to make. At the Port of Lake Charles, about $35 million is going to be spent on the bulk terminal dock. As I understand it, is Dan here? I don't know if it's here or not. But as I understand it, this probably is not going to take place now because it was going to be built for Leucadia. Out there you have IFG has just about finishing the first phase of the first greenfield grain elevator in the United States in the last 25 years. My understanding is that as soon as they get through with this phase, they're going to start phase 2, which is another $50 million project. The Golden Nugget, my understanding was the Golden Nugget was going to hire about 1,500 people. I understand that now it's up closer to 2,500 people. Now this is very different. You realize how different this is from Shreveport. Shreveport, they just opened up the Margaritaville up there, and the total employment didn't change in casino industry. They just basically cannibalized away from the other casinos. We don't think this is going to happen here. There'll be another great casino. You'll still draw from those crazy people in Houston, the places in Texas coming over. And so we don't think there's going to be any cannibalization. Can you imagine? They're looking at these employee villages and licking their chops. All these people coming in with all this money, they're going to be licking their chops, but there's a lot of new business going on. Out of Chenault Airport, AAR is planning to add more and more jobs by the end of 2016. Northrop Grumman basically kind of holding steady. They'll probably drop about 30 jobs between now and 2016, but still, that's not very much compared to the 400, 700 they have there now. Honestly, I can't get anybody, CB&I, Modular Solutions, to talk to. Most of the other people, you people in this room are very nice about talking to me about what's going on there. I can't get anybody to tell me what's going on. I'm assuming, since, as I understand it, they're going to be the contractor on SWLA, that you're going to see a big increase in employment there. I just don't know how much. You have about $164 million in state road projects going on. Now, there